I learned a lesson probably over about the first 4 months of recovery about one of the most damaging approaches or mindsets that I carried with me into recovery, and that was entitlement. And if there's one thing that will wreck your recovery, wreck your marriage, if there's one thing that will undermine the most important relationships in your life, I truly believe it's entitlement. Entitlement is this mentality that says, you owe me, I deserve this, I have a right to this, I am a higher up, if you will, I am an entitled person, you should do this for me, I deserve this. That mentality is one of the most damaging mentalities in recovery that you can fall prey to. How it plays out for us, the unfaithful spouse, is that we can't get away from the fact that our betrayed spouse should just get over it. You should just deal with it. It's time to move on. It's in the past. Stop bringing it up. I don't want to talk about it. You've just got to get beyond it. We can't keep living like this. I'm not going to be a doormat. It's entitlement. It's not only undermining your recovery, it is furthering the damage to your betrayed spouse, which will only cause more and more grief, more and more pain, more and more hurt, because an attitude of entitlement says, you owe me despite the fact that my actions may prove otherwise. You see, entitlement undermines love because it makes everything about me. Love is the benefit of another at the expense of self. Lust is the benefit of self at the expense of another. And entitlement says, it's all about me. I'm going to benefit myself at your expense. You owe me. I should get what I deserve. It completely undermines the foundation of love because there is no sense of humility. There is no sense of compassion. There is no sense of a desire to repair a wrong or establish unity. You see, entitlement will also undermine unity because you don't want to be one with someone who constantly makes everything about them. You don't want to be one with someone when all they think about is themselves, how everything's going to affect them, how every situation or every choice is all about them, and when they constantly revert to a mindset that is, what's this going to do for me, or what is in it for me? Now see, entitlement will also undermine trust because when you feel entitled, you demand trust, and trust can never be demanded. Trust can only be repaired, restored, and redeemed over time. As soon as you demand your spouse to trust you, you are undermining the very thing that you want because trust cannot be demanded. Trust can only be earned over time through honesty and through vulnerability and through consistency. Entitlement undermines safety because if you're a betrayed spouse, you don't feel safe with someone who constantly tells you what you should be doing, why you should be doing it, and how it's going to affect them, and they never really are concerned with what their choices are doing to you. They're not concerned about what's in it for you or how are they affecting you. They're constantly concerned about themselves, living with the mentality of it's all about me, and that does not make you feel safe, which doesn't make you feel vulnerable, which doesn't make you want to trust, which doesn't make you want to be close with them. And then the unfaithful spouse wonders why their betrayed spouse continues to pull back from them because entitlement erodes the foundation of recovery. A principle that I have learned in life, but also in recovery, is that if I am not grateful, if gratitude is not present in my life, resentment and bitterness eventually take over. I have, since I started off in recovery the first 6 months, I made a commitment to be thankful and to live a life of gratitude. I can't tell you, it would take, I don't know how many blogs to identify how thankful I am for so many things that have happened over the last 13 years, but even just particularly the last year, there have been some things that have happened that have changed my life, not necessarily financially. I'm talking about emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. It's been quite the ride. But gratitude absolutely has to be a major principle in your life, especially in recovery, because if it isn't, I guarantee you, resentment and bitterness will start to take over. And in recovery, gratitude has got to be a chief principle of your approach to restoration, both with your spouse, if possible, or just your own personal restoration. Without gratitude, we find ourselves drifting towards bitterness, drifting towards resentment. Do a litmus test on your own. How thankful are you right now? How much gratitude do you have in your life right now? It's a great litmus test to find out how much the voice of bitterness and resentment has in our life. I plead with you today to learn this principle, to begin to practice gratitude. There's always something to be thankful for. There's always the opportunity to find gratitude, and I promise you, from my own personal experience, even if you are in the middle of losing what appears to be everything, find gratitude. It will change your life.